Hello! My name is XANTHE, I'm a graphic designer and illustrator, and I make videos every single week, except from last week because I went to Spain, and a lot of you have been so kind about everything to do with my new job, about going to Spain, about the What Women Want campaign. Just so many people have been so unbelievably lovely. And also, whilst in Spain, Casey Golden, who I have watched for a long time now, decided to draw some female art YouTubers, and I was amongst one of those lovely lot. So now a lot of people have come over from Casey's channel, so hello if you're new. I seem to have gained about 400 and something subscribers from the time that I got on a plane, went to Spain and came back. So I don't really know how that's happened, but I'm very happy that it has. So if you're not aware, Jack and I, my boyfriend's Jack, by the way, I'm going to be saying his name quite a lot, and he's going to feature quite heavily in this. So Jack is my boyfriend, just for future reference. So Jack and I went to Fuerteventura, and we went there for 7 days, and oh my goodness, what a lovely place. The architecture was stunning, the plants were stunning, and the resort we were staying in was just absolutely beautiful. But whilst in Fuerteventura, I thought it would be really fun to take a sketchbook, and this sketchbook is nothing that exciting in terms of quality. Like, the paper is actually quite thin. It was from Asda, and it didn't even have a GSM kind of number on it, so I have no idea how thick this is, but this is incredibly thin, so I could only use one page at a time and then just let it bleed through. And I also made a card insert because I knew it would bleed through and probably bleed on to like 4 or 5 pages, so I made a card insert. But anyway, you don't need to know about that. So today I thought it would be really fun to go through this sketchbook, which I did on holiday, and it's very nearly filled. Like, not quite, like here's where the line is, can you see that? I've only got that much left, but I'm not going to fill up the rest because this is more of like a memory of our trip, and I would do most of these drawings by the poolside. So I thought it would be really fun to share it with you guys, and I did a poll on Instagram because I was posting a few of my poolside drawings, and when people found out that I had a sketchbook full of lots of drawings, I put out a little poll saying would anyone be interested, and it got 100%. So I'm gonna take that as, yes, please do a poolside drawing sketchbook tours at these. So that is what, you don't sound like that, by the way, that's just me being very silly. So yeah, today I'm gonna go through this holiday sketchbook and we're gonna do a sketchbook tour. Hello and welcome to my hands. Okay, so this, my friends, this is my sketchbook. When you open it up, you've just got our tickets. So nothing that exciting. We flew from Gatwick, so I thought I'd just stick in the tickets because, you know what? Why not? Memories. Anyway, this was testing out a few colours. So this is actually just before I went. So I was testing out coloured pencils, fine liners, actual pencils, felt tips, and pro markers. So that is that. Okay, so here I was really optimistic and thought that I'd get around to using watercolours, and on this one using gouache, but didn't use any of those things. Took them with me, but didn't use any of them because I was by a pool and it's a bit weird to get out paints and stuff. And also, majority of the time, because we were at an all-inclusive place, I was drinking alcoholic beverages, so I don't think paint and alcohol mix very well. Maybe in the future I'll be advanced enough to do that, but I didn't think it was even worth it. Okay, so this is the first page, really. In fact, let's get out my little... Oh, here you go. So this is the first page. So this was while we were sitting in Gatwick, and I just drew a couple of people that were sitting around. Like, this guy was sitting opposite us, so that was quite fun to draw. And there were a few people I spotted around the airport that I just thought looked quite interesting. Like, this lady was just sitting there chilling out, and I thought she looked quite cool. Also, Jack and I watched the final of RuPaul's Drag Race All Stars, so Not gonna say who won, but really like this person, Trixie Mattel, so. We were sitting opposite where the gate numbers were announced, so I tried drawing a guy in his position because he had like a jumper kind of thrown over his back, hand in his pocket with a ticket in there, and he was kind of standing in a pose where he looked like he was about to kind of run or go in any direction at any point. So I decided to basically draw his position and then label it. So I put slightly worried expression, jumper thrown over back, boarding pass in pocket, feet ready to move. And then this says, what's my gate number? But I hate this typography so much. I did it in biro and it went wrong, and then I went over it in gold and you couldn't really see it because I was using purple, and then I tried to go around it in black and it's just turned out into a little bit of a mess. So just ignore that. Again, I got this little slip so you can actually see what's behind the pages. So this one I'm actually quite a big fan of. So there was a girl sitting a few chairs away from me that I started drawing. She looked about my age maybe, and had headphones on. She was watching something on her iPad. She had like bags and coats and stuff. I just thought her position was really cool, and she stayed super still, which I was really appreciative of. Not that she realised I was drawing her at all, but I just wanted to get down her position. So, and this was just in biro. Okay, so next up is also one that I'm really like happy with. So this lady was wearing literally the shades that I've used here. So I decided to draw those colours first and then start blocking out shapes in pencil to try and get like more of a, less of an abstract look. Because before there were any pencil details, you could not tell what it was, who it was, why there were blobs on the page, so I wanted to kind of give it more of a description. So that was me trying that out, and I really like the way this one turned out. Next up, we were on the aeroplane, and these were, so you know when you have an aeroplane and it like connects you to the actual door of the plane? That's what these are. So from my seat in the plane I could see all of these little sections, so I decided to draw them because I thought they were quite interesting. These are just in biro, but I really like kind of the concertina action, almost like an accordion. So I drew that and quite enjoyed it. Next up we have something that I actually really like the look of. So I started drawing this lady here, and at first she just had like a bit of a poncho and a cut off, but I actually decided to give her really long arms and a crystal ball because I thought she looked a little bit like a fortune teller, and she's awesome. I think I kind of want to revisit this and see what else I can do with her. Like it'd be really fun to draw some long legs and try and see like how her body would actually fit together. I think that would be quite a cool experiment. So this was just someone who I came up with on the plane. So this was a doodle game. I drew a couple of shapes and just filled them in. I thought it would be something quite fun to do on the plane, and turns out it was. There are a few up the top that I didn't do because I got bored eventually, but there were quite a few doodle games in this sketchbook, so prepare yourself, friends. Okay, this lady I actually really like. I'm gonna move this. Goodbye, little white sheet. Anyway, so this lady I really enjoy. She is, I have no idea who she is, but I thought just the detail of her is quite cool. A very shawl draped over her shoulder, and then kind of old-fashioned clothing, but in a sort of fancy ornate frame. I just thought she looked quite cool, so drew her. She's fun, right. This is Jack and I on the plane. Just thought it would be really cute to do like a little window, so the view of us inside the plane as opposed to showing what the view would be with us looking out. Oh, it's so conceptual. Okay, oh, there's a tree, no. Okay, here is something that I actually drew when we got to the place, so when we got to Fuerteventura. I drew this at the poolside. So this says, oh my god, I want an actual real life unicorn. And I drew this little girl like looking absolutely amazed, like loving life. So this is a unicorn, this is a little girl. This is the same little girl holding a little fake unicorn horn to her head. So you're welcome. Okay, next up, this was the view from our pool. So where we were staying, it was called the Atlantis Resort or Suite Hotel Atlantis, but they had this really nice pool that we hung out at most days, and it had this awesome structure where it kind of looked a bit Moroccan or something, or Jack and I kept joking that it looked like it was out of Disneyland because it kind of looked a bit fake, but it was actually real, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know whether that makes any sense at all, but basically this is just done in Biro, and it's what I could see from the sun lounges. So here's the pool, here's a little downstairsy bit, so you walk down the stairs and through, and then there was a big plaza. So I just wanted to draw it. Here is a tree. There are so many beautiful plants in the Canary Islands. Like, I had no idea that they had cactuses. I don't know why, but I just got so excited. I was just so excited that they had stuff like this, so I wanted to draw it. I don't think that this is that great, but I still enjoyed drawing it. And again, I was kind of like in a downward position on a sun lounger, so it kind of took a bit of practice to actually draw in the right perspective, because my head was in at a weird angle looking at the sketchbook. But this is a way better version, I think. So this is using a brush pen, and I've used brush pens for a while now, but I rarely take them with me to draw out and about. However, I went to the V&A recently with Maddie, and she was doing some awesome studies, like absolutely amazing studies with brush pens. So she's converted me. I've decided to bring brush pens to all out and about sketching, because I think it just has like a really nice, lovely finished effect. Okay, so the proportions of this, please ignore. But this was like a 5-minute sketch, if that, and there was a guy sitting down, like leaning a book on his belly, and I thought it'd be really fun to draw him, so that's what I did. But he kept moving his arm, which was really annoying. I think he was like too hot, and at one point putting on sun cream and all sorts, but still, I got his like expression down, I think, but the actual position is all over the place. So please do not think that's how I would draw people, because I know that's wrong, but I quite like his expression. So, okay, this again, the perspective is pretty interesting, but so his wife or girlfriend, no idea who, was laying facing him with like her feet out. These are her feet, and then this is, again, the perspective is slightly off, but they kept moving. And then this guy, facially I think I've actually captured him quite well, because I saw him walking around the resort quite a lot, and I think he's pretty spot on. Anyway, but take my word for it. But he didn't move for ages and ages and ages, and was just reading. So really, really great to draw. This lady, way better in terms of perspective, but she was sitting on a sun lounger in like an upright position with an umbrella, so drew her. Cool. So this is just using an orange felt tip, like a Crayola felt tip, and it's the same structure that I was talking about earlier, but I just wanted to kind of play with using thick and thin lines to try and get the detail. So just very simplistic, just trying to play with lines, and I quite like how that works. I think it has a bit of depth. I think it's working quite well. So this is what I put on my Instagram. So I'd never gone away and felt confident enough to wear a bikini, just because I'm quite curvy, I have big thighs, quite a big bum, very big boobs, probably TMI, but there we go. Basically, I am the shape of an hourglass, and yeah, I just never had the confidence to wear a bikini. But this year I was like, well, you know what, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna make a leap, I'm gonna do it. And I actually got so many compliments and just felt amazing wearing it, so I'd recommend it to anyone who's like umming and ahhing whether to wear a swimsuit or a bikini. Like, totally go for a bikini. But I posted this on my Instagram, and it's done pretty well, and I've had like quite a few messages from people saying that they've now like gained confidence from this picture. And they also put a picture of me in my bikini, ooh, risque. So you can see that on my Instagram if you would like to. But this is the picture that I posted, and it says beach body ready. Here was at the end of day one. Jack and I had been in the sun, and even though we'd slathered on sun cream, we were both very sunburnt. So these were the this is obviously an exaggeration, but these were the places where we were sunburnt, and like my shoulder especially was incredibly sunburnt, but poor Jack kind of lobstered up. So that's us Brits. This was just me playing with like Sunburn Club. I was gonna do like a patch or something, but never bothered. Like I think I got bored of that idea or something and decided to move on to something else. So this was literally like 30 seconds or a minute on this page. Next up, a little girl who I saw when we were at the pool the next day. So what does it say? It says little girl who wanted to go in the pool but her parents said no. So she was super cute. I think she was Spanish, but the little girl was like pointing at the pool being like, please, please. And then her parents wanted to go down to lunch, so they were kind of holding her hand and pulling her away. But I just thought she was super cute, so nice. So I quickly scribbled her down, and now she's captured in my sketchbook forever. Here are a few sketches. So this guy was a guy that we saw walking around, and he was super stylish. He had a wife who looked fairly young but like beautiful, and a daughter who was also equally as stylish. I think they may have been American or Canadian. Never spoke to them but kept seeing them around, and they were on the same plane as us to Fuerteventura, so decided to draw him. But he always kind of had this like confused expression on his face. He looked like a creative director or something, but anyway, decided to draw him. This lady, oh my god, so she features more in my sketchbook. You'll see her again, don't you worry. But she was a French lady, and she was with another friend, and she just seemed like the most stylish, amazing woman, like such a diva. But oh, so much admiration for this lady. What a babe. Anyway, this was just out of my head. No idea who she is, but she's wearing a flower crown and she likes it. So sorry about the shadow. Bloody sun. So this was watching people swim about and drawing them. This lady has gone completely wrong, but she was doing like a weird tense thing with her mouth whenever she came up from the water. I think these two have worked out quite well. This one looked nothing like the person, but I think it's like alright in terms of how it looks. And this guy looks exactly how he looked in the water, so I'm quite happy with him. This was what I could see from my sun lounger one day. I actually really like the way it turned out. So this was a lovely palm tree. There was like trees and foliage in the background. And then they had like a little light next to some of the sun loungers. That's a sun lounger. That's an umbrella. And then in the background up the top on like the same level as the trees is the shower. So that's what that is. Here we have a little girl who also features in a couple of my other drawings. So her name was Eloise, and she was just like the most adorable, cheeky little child, and she had armbands, and she was like jumping in the pool and being quite demanding to her parents, but everyone loved her. She was British, but everyone absolutely loved her and would be like, Eloise, Eloise, and yeah, she was really, really cute. And that was her mum. Ah, okay, so here is someone else on a sun lounger. This lady was an interesting one. We called her the Enigma Lady because she was on her own on holiday, which is like really admirable. That's super cool. But she kept coming into the pool, like onto the poolside, staring, doing a weird thing with her mouth, and then like sitting down and staring at nothing. Very strange behaviour, but really interesting to observe. From like a people watching perspective, sun loungers and sunbathing is just the best. This little guy I really like, so I don't know whether you can see, but this is the silhouette of someone's face from the side. This lady, I don't think I did her any favours, but she did kind of look like that. She, without sounding mean, like the way she was holding her head was kind of up and downward, and she looked a bit sluggish. No offence to her, I'm sure she's lovely. This was the same stylish lady that I was talking about before. This was the lifeguard. He was really fun and just kept walking up and talking to these two ladies. And this was a lady who was just walking back and forth from the pool. Okay, so these were a couple of like thumbnails, super quick sketches just using pen, pencil and pro markers. So this was the side of the pool, and then it had kind of like a sloping down, I don't know what you call it, like pavement almost before you get to the plaza. So that was that. And then this was some of the sun loungers, and then I've just done the trees and the umbrellas in pencil. I think it's worked out quite well. So here I've done the same kind of thing, but there was like a stone wall. I really hate how this has turned out way bolder than I wanted. But you know, you live and learn. This was a stone wall. I love stone walls. I think they look really fascinating, so wanted to draw that, and I did. So that is that. Okay, so this was a boy that I saw at breakfast. I kind of wanted to use like a negative space idea with the plants. Didn't really like how the plants turned out, but I think the boy's quite cool. He's just sipping on a Coke. Ah, these are my two little lovely old couples. So I posted this on Instagram as well because it was like one of my favourite pictures that I drew that day. But basically there were so many lovely old couples at the resort that we were in, and they've been together for years, or like they got married when they were kind of in their 60s and then now in their 80s. Like there was such a variety of lovely people that we met and spoke to, and some people we just observed. But yeah, such a variety of old couples, and I just wanted to take little elements that I'd seen of all of them and kind of encompass them into this kind of thing. So I just thought they were really cute and I wanted to record it in my sketchbook. Little birds. Moving on. This guy. So I went to there's a thing called the pool bar where like you can go up and get drinks or whatever you want. So you'd walk like back and forth, and this guy sitting by the other pool was literally sat like this, and the pool bar is like here, and yeah, had to see all that. So I got bulge, belly, hair and all. But as soon as I got back, I was like, I just need to draw this. So that's what this is. This was a guy sitting by the pool. He didn't want to get in. He seemed like a bit unconfident maybe, but like, I'm sure lovely. He actually looked like one of our friends, so that was quite amusing. I was like, oh my god, it's so much like blah blah blah. Anyway, so he was just sitting by the poolside. I drew him in pencil, and then you couldn't really tell where he was sitting, so I decided to go over with pro marker. This was an old lady who was laying down. She was super cool. I actually drew her in my own style on the next page, so I'll show you that because I think this is alright, but it's not quite there. Whereas this lady, so this lady I think is really cool. She's the same version as the one I just showed you. So she's just laying on a sun lounger having a jolly old time. Oh, this was bleeding through. That's why I made the paper insert. So whenever you had breakfast, you sat at the plaza, and down in the plaza there were these adorable little birds who would just jump about and try and steal breakfast when you weren't looking. So I just decided to draw me in my red top and then like a little bird stealing some breakfast. Nice and self-explanatory there. So these I also posted on my Instagram, and this is Eloise, the one I was talking about earlier, the really cheeky little girl, and this is her mum who was pregnant. Yeah, they just kept turning up. They kept sitting on like the sunbeds really close to us, or like around the same pool, and I'd observed her for like a couple of days, so I just figured it would be really nice to draw her as like a little memory. But yeah, she was super cheeky. She was like really, really cute. Like it wouldn't surprise me if she was a child model or something. Anyway, so I don't know whether I'm going to colour this in because I quite like the pencil quality of it, but this was the fancy French ladies that I was talking about earlier. So she had a friend. They were almost like little and large, like the complete polar opposites, but I loved it. Like, oh my god. So this lady, we found out her name was Martine. She was honestly a cross between Cruella de Vil and Yzma. from Emperor's New Groove. And genuinely, every time I saw her, I got excited. She would be like really lovely, but such a diva, and she'd like bring the lifeguard over and tell them to change the umbrella height, or like if something was in her way, she'd get someone to deal with it. Like she's just, oh, classic old lady, like using her prestige to get her own way, but I just thought she was fabulous, and observing her was so fun. But yeah, we got onto like nodding terms, so there would be times where I would walk past and she would like give me a nod and a smile, and I was kind of fangirling to Jack. I was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, Martine, like she nodded at me, and Jack was just like, you're such a weirdo, stop. But anyway, so this was her and her friend, and they were smoking like troopers, but like I said, best people ever, absolutely love them, so had to draw them. Oh, a wide page. These were two people, two babies in fact, that we saw at dinner. So Jack and I were sitting at dinner, and this says, baby and her sister giving Jack and I funny looks at dinner and dancing. So this child was so cute. It kept kind of like lowering down its forehead and then looking at us while like kind of closing one eye. Absolutely hilarious. Just giving us a bit of a stink eye, but also pouting. So yeah, that was what that was. And then her sister was in the most beautiful flamingo dress, which I've tried to draw here but did not do it justice. And yeah, they were both in bibs, but they were dancing around, so she must have been about like 2 or 3. And she was just standing on top of a chair, like almost like riding it, but with her knees up, if that makes sense. But very, very funny, absolutely adorable. This was just a little squid friend. This was to do with like the birds stealing breakfast. So there was one guy at breakfast with like a bright orange top, and one bird stole a bit of bacon, another bird stole, I think, like part of his hash brown, and then this bird also stole a bit of bacon, but he was like, shoo, pesky birds, and then they all stole stuff at the same time while he was telling them to go away. So I thought that was quite funny. This guy, such a weird one, but there were people on our penultimate day that were going around with clipboards, I think doing like an inspection of the hotel or whatever. But this guy came up to one of the lifeguards, and he literally dressed like a sort of poor man's mafia. So this says mafia style guy who came to inspect the lifeguard. But he had like a weird kind of Craig David moustache going on, a top knot, and then like this weird sort of baggy clothes thing going on. But I just had to draw him because I found him really interesting. This woman, we were in the dinner hall, and then this lady walked past, and she walked literally like a T-Rex, like a dinosaur, with kind of her arms like this. So I had to draw her. And this guy, so this says, old man who proudly trumped twice when he got out of the pool. So he was very unapologetic in terms of like what he did or how he did it. Like he had his belly out, which is absolutely fine, but he must have been in his late 60s. So that was quite a view in itself. But anyway, he got out of the pool and was in these like really tight black shorts and a swimming cap and goggles, and then just farted, like the wettest farts I've ever heard. Probably TMI, sorry. But anyway, he just let out huge farts, and everyone didn't really know what to do, so just let him do it. This lady hasn't really turned out that way well, to be honest, but this was an Irish lady with her son, and they were like in the pool. They kept looking there, but I'm not a big fan of that, I'm afraid. So this was on our last day, and I was just like doodling stuff while we were waiting for our bus to arrive to take us back to the airport. So this is Jack playing on his phone. Doesn't really look like Jack too much, but I don't think it's too shabby. This, I actually really like this. So there were steps going up to that kind of structure that I was showing you by the pool, and there was steps with beautiful flowers, there we go, and stairs. So I decided to kind of do a negative space test thing. So this is supposed to be the rail, and this is all the plants, and these are the stairs. So I just wanted to do like something a bit more abstract and cool. I think it's turned out quite fun. Probably need to like line the stairs and stuff, but all in all, that's quite cool. Ha! Right, anyway, this was a colour study of the flowers on that step thing, because I really liked the colour combinations they put together. So it says colour study of plants on the steps of the plaza. There we go. What we got next? Ah, we got a little bird. Birdie bird. Thought that was cute, so drew a bird. Another bird, like a super fat bird. There was one bird walking around that had definitely eaten everyone's food because it was waddling, so that was cool. This was a lady at lunch, so this is a lady at lunch, and I wanted to try doing like a kind of line style with like a solid colour. So this is just in biro, and I just kind of drew the main features of her and then added in the blue, and hey presto, you have yourself a picture. This girl was one of the waitresses, and she was like walking around picking up cups. I just thought she looked really interesting. It just says waitress at lunch, so that's that one. These are my earrings. I was actually wearing this earlier in the video, so if you spotted them, that's what those are. And these were some plants that were around the plaza, so I just wanted to draw them. I thought they were quite fun. There's so many cool plants at this place. It just makes English plants look so boring and bland. Just love a good tropical plant. Anyway, this is the Doodle Game, so I got Jack to draw a load of shapes, and then I made pictures out of them. So we've got stuff like E.T., we've got a guy taking a selfie in a pool, a weird face, a boot, like a shrub, like a carrot or whatever, a guy kind of sniffing and that taking him off, person sitting, like an emo person, a cow, a fish, you get the gist. This was our cleaner. So every day we had someone come in to our room and like clean our room or whatever, and our cleaner was called Haffader, and one time I came back to our room to get some more sun cream or go to the loo or whatever, and she was there and she'd taken my earrings and like rearranged them into a picture, and I just thought that was awesome. So she couldn't speak too much English, there was like a lot of pointing and nodding and that kind of thing, but yeah, we ended up talking, and she was saying that I had really beautiful clothes, and I was sort of asking her about her and that kind of thing. So that is our lovely cleaner. Right. So Jack and I met this really lovely couple from Cornwall. They were in their 60s, I believe. So this was Yvonne and this was Martin, and I just wanted to draw them. Like, we spent 2 evenings chatting to them, and they were just really friendly, and yeah, got to know them, like speak a bit about their life, about our lives too, and yeah, just a very nice couple. So I wanted to draw them in my sketchbook. These were some people that we saw down at the bar a few times. This was Mary and this was Barry, and they were just two for a pair. They were hilarious. So there we go. But anyway, she was like smoking like a chimney, he was really funny, and just wanted to draw them. Coming to the end of my sketchbook now. So this is Giovanni. Giovanni was working at the resort with a photo company, and he was walking around with his camera like trying to get people to have photo shoots and things and like sell them photos. So Jack and I actually had a photo shoot, like a couple's photo shoot with him, which was just, oh my goodness, like the weirdest, most silliest thing we've ever done, but we actually got some really lovely photographs. So wanted to draw Giovanni because he was like a big part of our trip. This was another Doodle Game. I hope you can see the pencils, but yeah, this was on the plane and there was like quite a lot of turbulence, so I got Jack to draw a load of shapes, but he ended up drawing like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, blah, 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 the alphabet basically, so started making them into shapes. This was me at airport security, coming back from Fuerteventura. So I was wearing this like big baggy dress, which is a little bit like a tent, and the security went off for me, even though I had like nothing on me, and I had to get searched, and I had to put my feet on this like thing to check if my shoes were okay. Yeah, and then I had to get searched by this lady and patted down, but she was like very intense, was talking to me in Spanish, and I don't speak any Spanish, which is my own fault. But anyway, she she was like really drastically patting me down, and then she had gloves on and she like went up my dress and in my tights, and it was all a bit weird. But this was me like drawing it, I guess. So the security lady is like drastically trying to find something, and I'm just there trying to act happy and fine. Whee! Oh my goodness, that took a while. So I really hope you enjoyed seeing what was inside this Fortaventura holiday sketchbook tour, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed hearing about my little anecdotes, things that we got up to, things that I remember, people that I saw, that kind of thing. Let me know if you'd like me to do any other kind of sketchbook tours, because this was really fun and I've got quite a few sketchbooks in the house. So if you'd like to see more of my drawings and general brain kind of dumps, then let me know. Right, I'm rambling. Thank you so much for watching. Like I said, I hope you enjoyed my sketchbook tour, and I will see you next week. Bye! I didn't like that.
Yeah.